It's one of the biggest national security failures in U.S. history. Dozens of U.S. nuclear missiles went offline over the weekend. It happened at F.E. Warren Air Force Base, right outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is home to 1/9 of the U.S. missile stockpile. Now, missiles similar to these ones you're seeing, lost the ability to communicate with the systems controlling them. Various alarm systems also temporarily stopped working. The cause of this failure is still unknown, but officials say it's nearly impossible for a person to hack the system, and they do not believe the act was intentional. Well, joining me for more on the story from Boston, Massachusetts, is Joseph Cirincione. He's the president of Ploughshares Fund. Now, Joseph, I want to ask you, how did this happen exactly? We're hearing from different reports that national security interests or national security in general was not compromised, but 1/9 of the country's nuclear arsenal going out of power for a while. I mean, how did that happen, and why haven't we heard much about it?
Well, the very first thing to say is that we don't know yet what the full story is. The President of the United States himself just found out about it today, so we're just beginning to understand the seriousness of the incident. We're talking about losing communication with a whole squadron of intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's 50 ballistic missiles. These are missiles that can travel the ocean, span the continent in about 30 minutes. Each one of them is armed with a hydrogen bomb. They're designed actually to have 3 bombs per missile, 3 warheads per missile, but they've been downloaded to just 1. Each of these bombs is about 10 times the size of the bomb that destroyed Hiroshima. So you're looking at approximately 500 Hiroshimas of destructive force that was off the grid for about an hour, we're told. About an hour. We lost communication with them, could not control these missiles. Now, we're told that there was a backup system that was monitoring the missiles, and that we're told that there was no moment of panic at the Air Force, but they did consider this situation serious enough that they've reported it up to the chain of command. Everyone in superior position was notified this, including the President of the United States today.
Joseph, I want to ask you 2 questions in this one. That being, have we seen incidents like this before where nuclear material has either gone missing or showed up on different Air Force bases? And if this happened over the weekend, why is the President finding out about it on Tuesday?
Throughout the history of the nuclear age, there have been very serious incidents involving the loss of command and control over nuclear weapons. In fact, there are 9 nuclear weapons, hydrogen bombs, that the United States has lost that have never been recovered. Sunken ships, planes that crashed, etc. And that's just in the U.S. side. We don't have a history of what happened on the Russian side or any accidents involving the Chinese, for example. And 2 years ago, there was a very serious incident where we had 6 cruise missiles loaded on a B-52 bomber with nuclear warheads on them, weapons that were not supposed to have been loaded. They didn't know the nuclear weapons were on this B-52. The B-52 flew from North Dakota down to Louisiana and spent the night on a lightly guarded tarmac, guarded by little more than the usual security detail and a barbed wire fence. 36 hours, completely no control over these nuclear weapons. And the worst part, nobody knew they were gone. They were only discovered by a guard the next morning. So we have serious incidents of the U.S. Air Force losing command and control of weapons, each one of which is capable of destroying a major city. This is
Joseph?
a sign that, one, these weapons are starting to outlive their usefulness, that they're not getting the kind of care and attention that they need, and 2, that we're storing these missiles, these weapons, these ICBMs, in a state of readiness that is not justified by either the conditions in the world or the capabilities of the current systems. It's
Joseph, I want to ask you something very briefly. Something very briefly, if you don't mind. The START treaty, as you know, it's still waiting to be ratified. If you could just briefly tell me, how will this affect that treaty being ratified in Congress?
Well, it's likely to build the case for ratifying the treaty, because the treaty would verifiably reduce the number of nuclear weapons on both the Russian and the United States side and pave the way for additional treaties to bring these numbers down. It's time to retire these weapons from the Cold War, and we need to do this in a very careful and verifiable way.
Well, we'll have to see what comes from this story. It's just the beginning at this point. But that was Joseph Cirincione joining us from Boston, Massachusetts with that. He's the president of Ploughshares Funds. It's great to have you.